Yo, right here. Right here in the small box. Yo, this right here is a crazy win for Toronto. I just gotta say that. From somebody that's from land, I just gotta say it. This is a crazy win for Toronto. What the Weeknd just secured, I don't think anybody has ever even done this before, because he's treating his catalog as if it's real estate. And bro, this is music that we're talking about. This is music that we are referring to as the real estate. He's using his catalog, and yes, his catalog is worth around $1 billion. Let's just get that out the way. But to utilize that as real estate to continue to make money off of your music, bro, this is different. This is absolutely different. And I want to get straight to the news. So y'all know how we do this, right? Let's go and make it happen. Let's go and get started. Let's go and lock in. Here we go. Yo, you, right here in the small box, right here in the small box. Welcome back to Flex Mob Reactions, only on the Flex Mob Network. I'm Flex. Welcome back to the channel. The Weeknd secures $1 billion music catalog deal as Billboard Rules Change. Bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't see enough people. I'm going to be super honest right now. I think I am the first person from this land that is going to be talking about this right now. Shout out Scarborough. Shout out Scarborough, one of the districts in Toronto. All right? That's a Scarborough boy right there. Never forget that. Never forget when he was singing on the street corners when he was growing up here. Ain't nobody gonna forget that. All right, so we shout out, bro. We shout out the land. We shout out the cities. And it's all love, appreciation, and I want to see us shine. And this is how I like to see it. So let's get started. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop my videos or when I'm live, like right now. And let's get started, bro. Oh man.
Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this video, we're about to get into the Weeknd and this monumental deal that he has in place surrounding his music catalog. On the road to a Billy, they say. He just got $1 billion valuation for his music. He will be retaining ownership of his music, so this was not a full-on catalog sale. For the last 5 years, we've been seeing artists, producers, songwriters, etc. cashing out, selling their masters, selling their publishing. Some have come out and literally sold both their masters and publishing for a lump sum of money. We've seen certain people that have sold their masters in publishing for upfront money, but also taken a position, an ownership position in the company to also continue to reap benefits from the sale and stuff like that. There's been a lot going on with these people making these moves in the industry. And of course, a lot of these changes came afoot because of the pandemic, and artists started looking to the left and looking to the right. They weren't able to do shows. Once the shows went on pause, a lot of people paused their projects because they like, I'm not finna drop an album and I can't tour it. Can't be around nobody. So
anybody that had that thought process during the pandemic was not thinking hard enough. You still could have had the concert. You still could have done it. You could have kept it online. In fact, you should have dropped the project and said, since COVID's going on, since we can't go to the venues, since I can't come to you guys, I want to present an opportunity where you guys can come to me. Come pull up in my living room. I got y'all. I'm going to put on a concert for the album I just dropped and other hits that I have made in the past. This is a perfect time for us to come together in a time where a lot of us are by ourselves. And I feel like right now is the right opportune moment to go ahead and make something like that magical come to fruition. I feel like a lot of people could have got their shit off like that during the pandemic and made some money that way. You can sell the link to the live stream where you are going to perform. You could have done that, but nah.
People are still feeling the impact of the pandemic. A lot of folks' careers actually went kaput during all of that too. You know what I mean? Just being honest. However, the Weeknd is not in that position. He's been building a business and he's been trying to secure this $1 billion valuation for his music for many years. He's taken on an investment partner that put up a nice amount of capital for a certain percentage.
Hey, shout out to Flex Mob, bro.
Of his music, but he did not sell everything. He remains majority owner of his shit. Okay, so this is very much different than what we've seen from so many others. Very different from what we saw with Drake and that $400 million deal that he did with UMG. This is not the same because number one, he's not even partnering with a record label or a company to conduct this deal, right? He went with a capital firm. He's getting like venture capital basically. So let's go ahead and read into the details of this thing, man, because again, this is some historic shit happening. All right. So it says here, the Weeknd closes catalog partnership with Lyric Capital, said to be in $1 billion range. Unique deal sets new standard for artist equity and control. Okay. This information really hit the scene yesterday, but Variety had the exclusive 3 days ago. Okay. So they say the Weeknd and Lyric Capital Group have closed a deal forming a business venture together wherein Lyric has invested in the artist's music catalog from inception through 2025. Reps for the artist confirmed to Variety. The deal sees the Weeknd, real name Abel Tesfaye, and his team maintaining creative control over the catalog and remaining shareholders and owners in the company. The rep notes that the joint venture is not a conventional catalog sale. From the beginning of the meeting, it was clear to all at Lyric that Abel would not sell his catalog. Okay? So they're saying it outright. From the jump, he was not interested in giving up his shit. He wanted to be more innovative and creative in the way we established a partnership. To that end, through this venture, we construct.
Dude, y'all made quick work of dudes. Shout out King Hammer. Let me just read this real quick. We don't play that negativity here, big dog. Feel free to exit or get the boot with another negative comment.
And launched a new business model with Abel and his iconic catalog, whereby Abel and his team have the freedom to execute their creative vision with the entirety of his rights, both publishing and masters. The unique catalog deal sets a new standard for artist equity and control. So the Weeknd and his team are going to remain in the driver's seat. You know, some people sell a portion of their catalog. They may sell like the first half of their career. We've seen artists do that. Their first 4-5 albums, they sell off, right? And then they may do another deal for their second half of their catalog. We've seen all types of variations of this, but this is none of that. Furthermore, I
wanna speak on this for a second. Again, shout out King Hammer holding it down in the chat. I appreciate you for sure. We don't play that around here. That's something that y'all need to learn when you come over to the Flex Mob Network. Flex Mob don't play. All right. This right here, though, I want to talk about this for a second because a lot of artists are going to see this and they're not going to understand this. But what I want to say about that is this. When I see this, I see the thresholds in music. I see the different kind of thresholds that we have, or not we, but the thresholds that they have as artists. When you continue to shine, reinvent yourself, but still feed your audience, there's power in that because you're building your wealth in a sense by creating this undeniable catalog. When you think about the Weeknd's catalog and you start going through those projects, do you understand? Yo, especially when the Weeknd first started with his first couple projects and how people still listen to those projects to this day, me included. I still listen to House of Balloons. All the records on that House of Balloons like project, I still listen to those to this day. High for this. Let me tell you something. That Weeknd music, bro. Weeknd music, it does something to some people out there. Let me just say that. The Weeknd's music, it moves people in different kinds of ways. I just want to say that. And that was around like the college era for a lot of us here, me included. But what the Weeknd was doing is just that he was just continuing to build upon himself, just like a familiar rapper that we know, being Kendrick Lamar. Continuing to reinvent, but still push that envelope forward, building upon your catalog and creating this entity that's filled with nothing but exceptional music. Now, of course, it all depends if you're a fan of The Weeknd or not. I'm a fan. I can appreciate the music. There are some albums out there that weren't for me, and I understand that. You know, when I heard Starboy originally, I wasn't with it. It took me a long time before I got into Starboy, and there was a couple other projects out around that time, so it was a back and forth for me. But my point is constantly elevating yourself and putting yourself in new thresholds to have this kind of power to make something like this happen. This is why it's important for artists that's been around, that still want to do this, that still want to provide, that still want to make that hit, quality music, etc. You got to understand, when you want to make that project, you got to ship it as a package, and that's how you gonna be great. This has never been done before. Using your music as real estate, that's rare. Damn.
They state the venture applies only toward The Weeknd's music, masters, and publishing through 2025, and does not include any.
Oh, the Christmas concerts today? Shoot, I might have, if they're live streaming, I might have to see that.
Future releases. So if he decides to put out another album, they won't be able to touch that shit at all. He still remains 100% in control of everything he drops from here on out. So it's only the catalog from 2025 back to, I believe, all the way through his mixtape catalog, right? That's even involved in this. So he could drop another 10 albums if he so chose to over the course of his career, and it would not be touched by Lyric Capital.
That's crazy. So essentially he can still continue his music career, but still make funds off of this right here. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's on Moni's channel. I might have to tune in after. The Weeknd's music transcends emotions in real time. He turns emotions into power. It's hard to explain. I talked about it. I talked about him in a recent Spades game. Boy, I need to learn Spades. He low-key is one of the acceptable singers to R&B, to rap R&B in a way. I don't disagree. But he utilizes the genre of R&B and take the emotion and feel that comes with it and try to apply it to different sounds that are outside of R&B to build this idea of who The Weeknd is. It's a little bit of a mixed bag of what I just said, but I think that is one of the right ways to explain how he went about his sound and how he went about making his music, which is why it does something to certain people. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's crazy.
So I'll say this again. The venture applies only toward The Weeknd's music, masters, and publishing through 2025 and does not include any future releases. The Weeknd continues his partnership with XO Republic Universal Music Group. His publishing catalog has been and continues to be administered by Universal Music Publishing Group. Now, you
see this right here? You see this right here? This right here? There's pros and cons, depending on how you see it, of course. All this is happening. He's not getting rid of his catalog, but he's allowing other people to eat from this but he can still keep this as his own. And I feel like UMG, as you can see, the publishing group at least, UMG right here, I'm starting to understand what's going on with this. I ain't gonna hold you.
Understand, when it comes to publishing and administration, an admin deal means they only are collecting the money. They collect the money. They'll sign off on licensing. So if, you know, a new movie comes out tomorrow, Nike wants to do a commercial, Apple wants to do a commercial, to clear the publishing rights for that commercial, they'll reach out to UMG. UMG could either sign off.
I don't need to hear that again because that was important.
They collect the money. And when it comes to publishing and administration, an admin deal means they only are collecting the money. They collect the money. They'll sign off on licensing. So if, you know, a new movie comes out tomorrow, Nike wants to do a commercial, Apple wants to do a commercial, to clear the publishing rights for that commercial, they'll reach out to UMG. UMG could either sign off on it on his behalf, or they can send an email, say, hey, we got this Apple commercial, we got this, this advertisement, this movie, whatever. Do you want to clear it or not? He says yay or nay. Universal Publishing then relays the message. They move forward, or it's dead. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Okay, wow. Usually in that process, it ends with the label. But with what's going on here, this process ends with the artist. Holy shit. Yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. A lot of people might not understand this. It's perfectly fine. But you got to learn to grow and understand these things. Because, bro, just think about it like this. Say, for example, we got this new Marvel movie coming out. And with the themes and the kind of scenes that we have, I feel like the Weeknd's music from his early career would be very substantial in certain scenes of a movie or for a trailer. They would have to send it, pen up an email, type up an email, send it off to the right people that will receive this, to then send it to the artist that still owns this catalog to whether say yes or no, or say yes with these terms, and then they send that email to the same people that tried to reach out. That is crazy. That's what I'm saying. This is a big W for Toronto.
He's still in the driver's seat. They're not just doing things on his behalf
having a great day.
Without his knowledge. Okay? Very different from if you were to outright sell your publishing to Universal, right? If you sell to Universal, they're going to go out and pimp your butterfly, pimp your music to make whatever they invested into you back. If you do a deal like that, they may give you 30, 40 million if you're a big artist, but then they got to go make that motherfucking money back. But doing an admin deal, they just take a small percentage to keep things afloat. And they're going to make the money because they want to get their admin fee. Anyway, the rep added that because the deal is not a conventional catalog purchase, it is impossible to calculate a royalty multiple. However, variety sources and reports in Billboard and Bloomberg earlier this year stated that the assets were going for at least $1 billion based on about $55 million in net label and net publisher share, which implies an 18.2 times multiple. Okay? So they're saying that his music originally was valued somewhere around 55 million. They've come through with a multiple of 18 to secure this partnership. And of course, they're going to do what they can to bring that value up over time.
Right.
Reps for the Weeknd or fulfill the value that they put into it so they can make it back. Reps for the Weeknd and Lyric decline to confirm any numbers to Variety, but if accurate, it is one of the biggest deals involving a single artist catalog in history, let alone for a contemporary artist. The only larger publicly acknowledged single artist deal was Sony Music's acquisition last year of the Queen catalog, valued at $1.27 billion. With more than 120 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone, The Weeknd is one of the world's most popular recording artists. His ongoing After Hours Till Dawn tour recently passed the $1 billion mark. Damn, he did $1 billion on touring? Shit.
What?
Setting a record for a solo male artist.
My stupid ass was going to say he $1 billion artist. No. Even though the tour made $1 billion, he didn't make $1 billion. But with this deal, he probably is $1 billion artist now. Let me just say that. He did $1 billion on touring? Jesus God.
The Hours Till Dawn tour recently passed the $1 billion mark. Damn, he did $1 billion on touring? Shit. Setting a record for a solo male artist. They said there's no ABS or securitization deal here, the rep continued. Lyric created a first-of-his-kind structure with direct input from Abel and his team, which included a first-of-his-kind royalty-backed note produced by Lyric, FT Partners Group, that drastically enhances the artist-friendly theme that underpins this partnership. In another quote, they state, "I couldn't be more excited about what Lyric, Abel, and team have created together," says Ross Cameron, Lyric founding and co-managing partner. "From our first meeting, it was clear to me that we were sitting around the table with individuals that were going to change the way an artist thinks about his assets, music, and legacy. The collaboration resulted in a first-of-its-kind partnership between an artist and Lyric, and we are beyond thrilled about this new venture. Lyric strives to create artist-friendly structures, and we believe this partnership demonstrates that at the highest level with the top artists in the world. I want to thank Abel and his team for putting their trust in Lyric," says Rich Garcia, Lyric co-managing partner. Half of The Weeknd's publishing rights were already owned by Chord Music Partners, backed by UMG and Dundee Partners. Lyric Capital invests in music royalties and also owns Spirit Music Group, which controls catalogs from Tim McGraw, Jason Aldean, Ingrid Michaelson, and others. And I wonder if Lyric Capital and Lyric Financial are in business together or if they're separate.
You know, Jordan, I was waiting for that question. Jordan, I've been waiting for that question. I ain't gonna lie to you. It just comes down to, okay, there's multiple things as to why Drake is the number one in Toronto. And it comes down to a lot of the elements that we've gone over on this channel. For example, when we talk about gatekeeping, we talk about the level of politics in Toronto. We talked about OVO and how they're moving and how they be threatening other artists out there. We've talked about that. Basically, what I'm getting at is, because of how well they have suppressed a lot of the kind of talents that we have around here, that allows Drake to remain dominant in this city and to be that force that cannot be played with around here. You know, funny enough, OVO and EXO, which is basically Drake and Weeknd's crews, they've been beefing for years. Oh, fun fact about that shooting that happened at the embassy after the beef, when Not Like Us dropped, and everyone's like, "Oh, breaking news, somebody got shot at Drake." Yeah, no. There's no way dudes from LA can cross the border, get some straps, and go lay some bullets down on the front yard. Okay, there's only one way where them bullets can fly over there like that, and it was alleged that it came from EXO members because of the EXO and OVO beef. But a lot of people don't know about that, or it might be something they can't get behind, but I've been hearing too much about it for me to not say, oh, it could be anything else. No way. Even at Rolling Loud. Think about it like this. Even at Rolling Loud, when we had Rolling Loud Toronto, We only had it for 1 year, and that was it. The reason why we had it for 1 year and never again is because there was a shooting not a shooting, it was an alleged shooting in the VIP area, which caused the concert to be delayed, or the festival to be delayed. Funny enough, I was in the crowd waiting for Future to get on stage. Okay, because I need to hear March Madness. All right, let me get that out. Let me get that out of the way. I needed to hear March Madness live. He's like, yo, this one for my day ones. I'm like, what is it? And I hear, do, do, do. Oh, shoot. But yeah, I was in crowd waiting to hear March Madness. And I was at the front, too. But I heard about this news from security guards that worked in that area. And the whole night, OVO and EXO were beefing that day. It got a little heavy, got a little rough. Big fight broke out, and then alleged shots went off. So you gotta think about it in that kind of way. But to summarize, like I said, suppression. Because of suppression is the reason why this individual is known all over the city, and this other individual is known in the city, but he's in that individual's shadow.
Entities, because I know Lyric Financial also gives out advances to artists that are generating money, but they may need a little bit of a stimulus, if you will, and they'll collect it back through your royalties type of thing. Now, just for a little bit more clarity, I'm on Billboard now, and they say, according to sources, in simplified terms, the deal can be described as raising $1 billion for the Weeknd's music assets, of which 75% was raised through debt, with Lyric Capital Partners holding a 25% equity stake in the artist's catalog. The deal is said to encompass his master recordings, which sources say he owns in conjunction with his manager, Wasim Sal Slaby, and his publishing, which sources suggest he owns 75% of through a co-publishing stake and his writer's share. The remaining 25% of the publishing, which is not part of the Lyric Capital deal, is now owned by Court Music Partners, Okay? So if it's $1 billion valuation and Lyric Capitals is taking a 25% stake, I've been seeing that it's possible that they may have invested somewhere in the ballpark of $250 million to make this thing happen, which is a hell of a lot of money.
It's the investment, but with that investment, the return that you will get is a lifetime return that's going to exceed that $250 million. They penned this deal so perfectly in a way where they had this company say, so you wanted $250 million so that we can go forward with this deal. Do we have that on hand? Yeah? And you said your name was The Weeknd again, right? Yeah, we can do something. Yeah, we can get to work. What? Watch, The Weeknd is going to start pushing music again. Just wait.
So what we do know is The Weeknd is out here making power plays. He's not giving up his music. He's not giving up control of his music. He is still going to be the arbiter of his future for the foreseeable future. And they can't touch none of what he's going to be putting out in the future at that. Very masterful deal that they've got here. But all of this is happening and being announced in the midst of Billboard coming out and once again announcing new changes that will be reflecting on artists' music moving forward and how they're going to be tabulating sales for the music industry. So this is pretty much the perfect time for somebody like The Weeknd to be securing his future, because the rest of the industry is insecure than a bitch.
Oh,
every couple weeks we got Billboard coming out saying some shit, making changes to some shit. I don't even know who the fuck they got to consult with to even make these changes happen. but then they just affect everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, dub for the city. That's a fat dub for the city. Okay? I know a lot of people don't care. I remember on Instagram, I put out a post calling out some certain media pages. Talk about this. Post about this. Do something with this. Because there's no way we being in Toronto can ever ignore this. If we're ignoring this, then we literally don't know what we're doing with ourselves. And that goes back to the whole idea of the blind leading the blind off a cliff. In other words, y'all going nowhere. We got to stop this nonsense. End the gatekeeping. It's not helping nobody. It's only putting more pressure on everybody around here. Unnecessary amounts of stress. It's got to end. Everybody has a talent. Everybody got a voice. Everybody is great. But we all need everybody moving right now. Do you understand how easy it is for some of these artists in the underground to easily put together a tour, to put together a festival of any kind for other artists and the fans of that artist to pull up? But there's always some sort of politics going on that stops these things from happening. We got to stop that. We have too much talent around here to be moving like this. It's ridiculous. But if that's what you want to do, I want to see how y'all get your money, because it's not coming from music. I'll tell you that right now. Y'all getting your money from other means. Now, I don't need to share that, but I already know. Either way, shout out Jay Nolan. Phenomenal video. As soon as I saw you drop that one yesterday, I said, that's the one. I need to hear that. I need to hear that immediately. So, it is what it is. But let's keep going. Let's see what other videos we can get into for today. All right, let's go.